All right, guys, it's Jahlon with the Paradox Gaming Network, and today I'm going to be doing an Ashes of Creation pre-alpha look, getting close to when we're not going to be doing it pre-alpha anymore. Today's going to be highlights and tidbits of information from yesterday's live stream, and then I'm going to show you some shared artwork. So, first things first, I want to show you some video footage that came from Intrepid. I want you guys to realize that this is rendered on a GTX 970. And for those of you that don't keep up with technology, the GTX 970 is a September 2014 card. So the card's just about 4 years old. So let's take a look at what the game is starting to shape up to be on 4-year-old technology. All right, guys, so with that shown, I want to talk about a bunch of random bits and pieces, close some loops on other things. And my question during the live stream to Steven yesterday was, what are the developers in France and Malaysia actually working on? Interesting enough, the team in France is doing engineering. The team in Malaysia is doing artwork. He kind of looked like he answered it directly and then didn't want to go into it any further. I'm going to make sure to ask him some follow-up questions. I believe that Intrepid looks like they're trying to go as to a more international presence. Combat. I know people would love to know that I have combat footage ready to show you. Sadly, that is next live stream. I know people have been waiting for it. I know a lot of people are waiting to make their decision on Ashes until they see the combat. Remember, what you see next month is going to be very early stuff. It still needs to go through player testing in Alpha 1. Alpha 1 Phase 1, the big part of it is combat testing. So even the stuff you see next month is still going to be open for modification and change. Speaking of Alpha 1, the question was, why limit Alpha 1 to 10,000 players? Well, remember, 8 to 10,000 players is their goal for concurrent user level per server. So don't really want to have more than that during Alpha. Alpha is going to consist of some time slot testing. If you guys know what that is, that's where you get told, hey, from Friday at 6 p.m. till midnight, the server will be up. We want you to come test. We want you to come test this. And then that's really to get your stability set, because you're not, when you've invited people, you can do a lot of things with a known audience. And then towards the end of Alpha 1, they want to have several weeks of consistent play. Very cool concept that'll let us start to do the first bits and pieces of tweaking the nuts and bolts. Remember, guys, I know it's early and I know no one's doing Alpha 1 footage for several months, but just keep it in your head and keep getting ready to share the fact when people say, oh my God, that looks so, and they put a negative adjective there. Just remember, this is a true alpha. The stuff you see in Alpha 1, you're seeing about a year in a handful of months of development. So there's going to be constant polishing from the alpha through the beta to finally to launch. Package upgrades. I know a lot of people saw my last video and they pegged me with the question of, what about package upgrades? Can I still upgrade if I'm a summer backer or a Kickstarter backer? It will get turned off at some point. Upgrade will not be available forever. It's going to depend on how much room they have left. I think the cutoff date for the Kickstarter is going to be tied right around to that 10,000 Alpha 1 tester number. So when that number gets close, they're going to say a couple of weeks out, they're going to say, yeah, upgrades are getting cut off now. So not yet scheduled, and Steven has said a couple of weeks. Remember, guys, a couple is technically 2. If you get in that 2-week range of notice, you did get a couple of weeks notice. Okay, guys, I also want to talk about some citizenship information. Every live stream, we get a lot of new information, but we get a lot of insights into things. Because remember, we don't know everything there is about every one of these systems. So previously, in order to be a citizen, you had to have a house or a freehold or an instanced apartment. That was the prerequisite. And now some nodes may have citizenship tickets. This will allow for citizenship without property. This is going to require more testing. I already have written down in my notebook of testing that I think there's something that really needs to be addressed here. I think there's something exploitable. That'll be something that I focus on testing. If you sort of have any concerns with that, link up with me if you're not an Alpha 1 tester, and I will get that written down and I will explore this. Just I want you guys to know that citizenship ticket thing is high on my radar for testing. Speaking of freeholds, freeholds are not restricted to housing zones, not like Arcade where it's like in between these wood stakes and these wood stakes you can put your houses. You're allowed to have 1 per account. Note that's per account, not per character. There is going to be a standoff distance between freeholds. We are not sure of the exact distance. You cannot place on roads, dungeons, or points of interest, so you're not going to drop your house like right up against the city. There are some geographical limitations. Makes sense. You're probably not going to drop your freehold like along the river bank itself. Up on the river bank, sure, not along the river. They said there's fairly open placement. You can get the plans from merchants, quest rewards, and drops. Now, that's plans for the building on the property. The freehold itself, the deed, you get from a merchant in a level 3 or above node. And then there's going to be Tetris-like placement. Freeholds you're going to be able to do a lot of different things. And I'm actually wondering if different quest rewards or drops are going to be different sizes of something. One thing I thought of is, what if I have a tavern in a forge? Can I fit a little farm, like a little 8x8 garden from Arcade? Can I slide that in? Or are they all going to be the same size? And that's really got me interested for things I want to look into. I also want to talk about social organizations. First time we got any real, like, behind the curtain peek at these. These are going to begin NPC run, and they're always going to have an NPC component to them, so they won't be able to be taken over by the players completely. Players will earn ranks that allow them to provide some direction. So if you're a captain in the Thieves Guild, you might be able to drive the Thieves Guild towards something. But that will always be native to the organization. The Thieves Guild is going to be the Thieves Guild. It's not going to start doing magey things. No matter how much the player wants to drive it that way, you'll be limited by some confines. Also want to talk about naval content. We got a ton of naval information yesterday. It's like almost amazing. I don't think they've ever revealed so much about a topic at once. There's a naval progression path. which we know we have our character development path. We've got our weapons path, our crafting path, so like our artisan path. You also have a naval progression path. On a side note, also you have religious progression path. We don't know any more about that, but they mentioned it as a tidbit inside of this content. As you gain experience in handling components, each class of ship is going to have components. You become more adept at using them. So you might become a really good navigator. You might become a really good gunner, a really good repair person. You might be really good at the merchant aspect of a ship. You might be able to cram more into a merchant ship. So the boats are going to have upgrades just like the caravans, and the crew is going to be better on their naval progression path. So really huge amount of spoilers that we got yesterday, which of course leads us to about 97 more questions. Nodes and zones of influence. A lot of us have had discussions on nodes and zones of influence on the Discord. We finally got some more of this hammered into place. Every square inch of the map is in some zone of influence. Anytime you're earning XP, a node out there is earning XP. Nodes can get stuck at level 1. A level 1 node does block out level 0 nodes from going to level 1. Larger nodes will enslave lesser nodes. They do have a specific algorithm for how this is going to work. So if you've got a level 3 node in the middle and it's going to pop to level 4, which direction it's going to go and block out, they have an algorithm for that. They're never going to share it, but they do have a method to which direction the node is going to expand and which lower node it's going to enslave. Truthfully, I like the enslave model better than calling it parent-child, because if you're going over the node, you're basically overruling it. I think enslave is a much better term. Caravans. There's going to be levels to caravans. Now, what that means, they didn't really give any information on. But again, they have continued to remind us that upgradable items in the caravan. I like the way they said it yesterday. They're going to be like a character. It's going to be built how you want it to be built. And I really like that. So if I want to be a really fast caravan, I might do X. If you want to be a really meaty caravan and be able to take some hits, you might add more armor plating. So it's going to be really interesting. This is another system I want to get into and start just pulling it apart. I thought this was interesting. This just came out of a news article I read today. There's no mailing of resources. We got that yesterday during the live stream. But there's also no global warehouse for resources. But I like the way that they said you may be able to put your staff and your sword in a warehouse and then grab it somewhere else. You can't put the iron ore in there and grab it somewhere else. I kind of like this idea. Now, it is getting into a little bit of magic pencil. Like, why can I put my sword and my shield in node 7's armory and then I get to node 50 and I can pull it out? I'm okay with it a little bit. I'm okay with the magic pencil, the magic GM pencil a little bit. I love the fact that there is no mailing of resources. There is no resource box of magical transportation. The caravan system is a key part of the game. I'm glad to see that they're already saying, guys, these things that you thought you could do aren't going to happen. And then remember, there's no global auction house. If you want something, you got to go to an area and buy it and then bring it back. Achievements. I know a lot of people are big on achievements in games. I'm not really an achievement hunter. That's a big lie. I love chasing down achievements in life, in games. There will be character specific and account wide achievements. So that is really cool for us achievement hunters. I do like that they're already thinking about achievements this far ahead. Cash shop. Now I know a lot of people in the Discord are heated one way and the other. Gifting in the cash shop. Sorry, guys. I agree with Steven. You could see his hesitation and his reluctance where he talks about this in the video. No, there's not gifting in the cash shop. That's not going to be soon. It maybe not ever, because it opens up the door to RMT. And yes, absolutely, guys. I know it sucks. I know as a content creator, I want to be able to gift you this month's cosmetic. I want to be able to do like 5 giveaways for this month's cosmetic. It just opens the door to RMT. If I tell you, oh yeah, I'll buy you this month's cosmetic, just give me X whatever, or give me $5,000, 5,000 gold, and I'll buy you something at the cash shop. So yeah, unfortunately, gifting in the cash shop may never appear. For all of you European players, I know it sucks that you want swag, man. You want your hats, your hoodies. They really want to do this. You could see Steven get really passionate about wanting to do it, but it's really, really expensive, and they don't feel good about the price. They are trying to work some options, and I imagine if their development team in France and Malaysia gets more robust, you might see them bulk ship to that area and then process the orders from those centralized locations. But yeah, guys, nobody wants to pay $80 in shipping for a $20 item, and they don't set the shipping rates. UPS does. Artwork. I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to show you some Steven leaked artwork that he gave us this weekend. Happy birthday to Steven. He turned 33 this weekend, and for his birthday, he gave us artwork. Really cool of him. I showed this on my weekly news program last week, but that wasn't an Ashes Only video. I wanted to make sure to get this into an Ashes Only video. Really, really loving the environment and just the time they're taking. This thing is still the Cave of Nightmares. I'm going to splice in something real quick. This is just some art from the live stream.
I can take a look at some of the images. Oh, okay. So this is a this is a bridge in one of the environments, and
you can almost see the person who's behind us.
Oh yeah,
might be working on it.
Tad behind us. Who was a former team lead, I believe, on H1Z1, and Devin we brought on board this last month was also an environment lead over at Daybreak.
And you can see here some of the lighting passes that we've done to try and improve the look of everything. Is kind of what you're seeing here.
Yeah, you want to talk about these a little bit? Let me find the questions.
Sure. Here is a cemetery.
Also by Tad.
What?
Also by Tad.
Also by Tad. From a long, long time ago, some people died here.
Sad.
Yeah.
I don't know if they died right there.
Well, they were brought there, yeah, over time. These are some interstitial structures made by John. These are kind of defensive areas and some new texture work
really
that John's done.
He's got some cool effects on them too.
All right, and that's it, guys. I want to get this into post-production. I'm going to try to get a little bit more timely with the Ashes stuff. Before, there was no big rush. Now, as we're getting closer to Alpha 1, I want to make sure to keep getting these videos out to you. And then I really need you guys to start giving me comments, concerns, critiques, things that you want to know about Ashes. I'm going to start developing my my research binder now. So you can do that via email. You can do it on Discord. I'm Jahlon, #8446. Or you can jump into my Discord. I run a Discord across a multitude of games. Feel free to swing by during my stream on Wednesday nights or Fridays. And coming up this weekend, I'm going to be doing a lot of streaming. The family is going to be gone, opening up lots of time for me. So I'm going to be playing a lot of different games. Special thanks to my sponsors, J-Word, Luna Chaos, and Maury for their dedication to the Patreon program. And that's my other goal for the week. I am reworking the Patreon site, so hopefully next week it'll be worthwhile for you to take a swing by. And as always, big thank you to my longtime donor, Jonathan Bentley. He is the driving force for why I even have a Patreon, why Paradox is now a business. All right, guys, you take care, and if I get any more Ashes news this month, I will, of course, release more, but don't be expecting much until next month, unless we get a really big bombshell. Take care, guys. Hey, where are you going? You're not done yet. See these videos? There's videos up here to watch. You gotta go over here. Hit the chibi. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the webpage. And I'll see you guys on Twitch.